Hughley says, saying yes to Monique is an occupational hazard. Monique responds by saying, brother, you're just tender. Stay tuned. God bless you. Thank you for joining me on Morning Nuggets on this wonderful morning. This is yours truly, Pastor Nate. And it is, as always, my absolute pleasure every time I come and speak with you. If you like what you've been hearing and you have not subscribed to this channel, friend, listen, go ahead and make that decision right now. You will not regret it. We talk about some great things over here. Go ahead and give it a try. You won't be disappointed. Saying yes to Monique is an occupational hazard. Monique responds by saying you're tender. Over the last couple weeks almost, Hughley and Monique have been going back and forth. They've been beefing. Both of them were at the Fox Theater one weekend, and Monique was supposed to have been the headliner. And from my understanding, that's the person who comes on last. Supposedly because they're the best or they have most status, maybe the best comedian. For some reason, that didn't quite happen. There was some type of contractual conflict going on there. So Monique gets on stage and she says all types of things about Hughley. She begins to talk about his manhood. She mentioned his wife at some point. She began to emasculate him on stage. And Hughley responds on his radio show by saying, working with Monique is an occupational hazard. I should have known better. Hughley mentions Lee Daniels, Steve Harvey, Oprah Winfrey, and all the others who supposedly had a difficult time working with Monique. In other words, Hughley indicated that I learned my lesson. I will not make that mistake again. Take a listen.
Saying yes to you is an occupational hazard.
And Monique responds by saying, you're tender.
And now you tender.
In other words, brother, we do this. This is what comedians do. We roast and we gag each other. You've been in the game long enough. You know how this works. That's what Monique was indicating. But I believe it was a little more personal than this because Monique had referenced the dog, I believe, and his family. I believe it was a little more personal with Monique. That's why she got on stage and said what she said. After all, something to this nature happened in the past with Monique. Monique demands respect and fairness, which we all should. But if she doesn't get that, you're going to see what we saw on stage. Do you guys believe that Monique was joking? Or do you believe that she was touched in her spirit? I know Hughley was. I believe both of them said something very offensive to each other. Hence the reason we're having this beef. When I thought about this situation, the scripture came to mind that says, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. In other words, people who are now getting all the accolades and all the recognition, maybe people who have high status, have the money on top, they one day will be last. They're first right now. And the people on the bottom of the totem pole, the people always get looked over, don't get recognition, always struggling. Those are the ones that's going to be first eventually. So in this situation, in the comedy world, I understand the person who is last is the one who's the best. And the person who's first are the ones who's trying to come up because the last person is the headliner. Well, comedians continue to be integral. One day, you're going to be the headliner. Keep on doing your thing and keep on working your way up. One day, you're going to headline. By the same token, just people in general, those of you who feel like you're at the bottom, you can't get ahead, you're on your job and you've been there, you've done everything that you were supposed to do, you were committed, you were faithful, and you seem to get looked over for that promotion. Those of you at church, you've been faithful and it seems like you don't have a position, you can't get to do anything in your church, in leadership, or whatever in life that you feel like you've been looked over I just want to encourage you to hold on, because the scriptures say the first shall be last. The ones who on top right now, they going to have their day. Yes, they will. And the ones who at the bottom, they shall be first, according to the scripture. Just hold on and be faithful. As the song Shirley Caesar sings, you're next in line for your miracle. Don't give up right now, because if you give up, you're committing spiritual suicide. How do you know tomorrow's not your day to be first, so to speak, to headline the show? Friend, let me know what you think about this situation. I pray that this exhortation blessed you on this morning. In the meantime, in between time, be at peace and not in pieces. Till next time, my friend.